Hello, my dear Sagittarians. Thank you for stopping by my channel to take a look at this reading for you that I'm doing. If you haven't been here before, welcome. And if you like it, please like, share, and subscribe. I am doing a general reading. I think, we'll just see what comes up, whatever Spirit wants to show us. There'll be themes that will, whatever it is that they feel like they want you to know the most and focus on this time. And you can also watch your sun, moon, and rising signs as well. Whatever resonates with you, keep. And if it doesn't resonate, then you know that it wasn't, those messages weren't necessarily meant for you. I do know, however, that for the most part, people are facing certain kinds of themes. The reason these types of readings actually are usually quite accurate is that, especially by sign, as we go through the astrological, changes that are happening for everybody, they affect different signs in different ways with different themes. And so as we tap into the energies of what's happening with any particular sign, it usually is quite accurate. And also just want to let you know that I am offering July snapshot readings, are just $25, and it's a pre-recorded reading, usually about 10 minutes long. And if you want to take advantage of a special that I'm giving, I will add on the $22 webinar, this live webinar, Healing, Clearing, Grounding, Shielding, and Protecting webinar that's coming up on July 5, and you'll get that as well for just $33. It's a great value. So take advantage of that and email me for more information about how you can purchase that at this time. So we've got the 8 of Cups, crossed by the 5 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, Page of Cups, 10 of Wands, the Fool. At the bottom of the deck, the King of Swords. Oh, I got one more. Gotta lay out some more cards, I just remembered. Tower, Queen of Wands, 7 of Wands, and then 7 of Cups for an outcome. All right, so right now, Sagittarius, many of you are being faced with the need to move on from something, and this is it has something to do with emotions. It could be some kind of emotional situation. It could be with you and a partner, a loved one, friends. It even could be something about work. But it is something that what you're being called to do right now, and especially we just came through the portal of the summer solstice or winter solstice in the south, where it landed on a full moon landed on that day. So it was really a double gateway with a very strong vortex for helping us pull us through with incredible power. I don't know about you, but leading up to and then the day after this day of the full moon, and it was just super intense for me. And I was called to do exactly this. And recognizing what this is all about is part of that process. And Spirit really has been working with you to make that happen. And in particular, it has something to do with feelings of lack or need or like of not having what you want. And so I feel like for many of you, you'll have kind of had an epiphany of like realizing, I realize knowing what it is that's made you, why you're feeling this feeling of lack and need is because you're hanging on to something, and that it's time for you to move on and go forward from that. And I'm not necessarily saying it's any one particular thing. If for any of you, you know what it is in your own life. It may be a relationship with somebody that you need. It's time for you to move on to a different person, or just maybe within a relationship that you have like a certain growth that needed to occur in order to move to a new level with this person. And it was because you had feelings of lack, and it was just, that's what you're being challenged to deal with at this time, to clear. And that's one of the things that this seminar that we're having coming up, this clearings and healing and clearing, it really will help with that process. So in the recent past, you have had a new, like you have been newly energized to begin to begin something new, whether it was a project or whether it was in a relationship, or even just within your own, having to do with your own experience of feelings and emotions. But you've been energized recently to get pushed into doing to making greater strides toward it. And in this situation right here, as you do this, what's really happening is you're actually taking a leap of faith. And so it looks like moving on and moving forward and because you were challenged by these feelings and emotions and you deal with them, that it is actually bringing you into an opportunity to have, like, basically, at this point, the world is your oyster. Like, anything could happen now because you took this leap of faith, because you released those things that were holding you back. You realized they were no longer serving you, and it's now time to just, like, anything can be made possible at this point. I love the Fool, one of my most favorite cards in the entire tarot deck. And we also have, like, the Ten of Wands comes up here, just talking about that you really have, you know, you've had a lot of things that were weighing you down, and you know, it's deeply connected with these emotions, and that by taking this leap of faith, you're really able to, it's not necessarily like all of these wands are going to go away. I feel like you're going to assimilate them, and it's almost like what's going to happen with this process is that you turn all of these 10 wands into one. And even though the one is like in our past, it's really talking about this is giving you the power to do that. So you can basically consolidate and assimilate and distill all of this experience that you've had, and, you know, put it back into one, and be able to move forward, you know, with more ease. In fact, I kind of see this, that the Fool, I've never thought about this before because it's not the same color, but the stave, or the, you know, whatever's in her hand is actually very similar to this one. And so that's, you know, what's really happening with you right now. So what comes next in your near future is Page of Cups. And a Page of Cups is about, you know, messages of love and emotion, and like having a fresh approach. So I feel like what was happening in your life here, you know, things had gotten worn out and tired and exhausted and, you know, feeling inadequate. But by doing this leap of faith thing and, you know, distilling everything and bringing it back into just one, you're able to start over again and have a new, fresh perspective on everything, especially having to do with your emotions. And, you know, Sagittarius, you guys, really fiery, and very, you know, actually the Fool is reminiscent of Sagittarius, because Sagittarius loves to, you know, explore and get out and do things, and having a fresh perspective on life makes all of those new things that you could do even more, all that much more interesting and that much more enjoyable. Like, just like the Fool has that ability to just, you know, leap of faith. She has a white rose in her hand, which is really representing a purity, and you know, it's like giving you that pure, fresh start on things. So if you also are wanting to have a fresh start in, you know, your romantic life, relationships, or at work, you're going to have increased, you know, ability to do that again. Coming up in the near future, suggested action is the Tower. So I feel like many of you have had something that you felt was blocking you in the past, and you didn't quite know how to deal with it, and it just felt like it would never change. You know, whether it was an obstruction, you know, regarding your life purpose in your career or a relationship, or you know, whatever that might have been, you felt like it was insurmountable, and you couldn't, you know, you didn't know how to change it. And actually what you're going through right now is going to give you the ability to change it and to meet the Tower head on. And you see the Tower is now tumbling down, and then you come up here as your significator. It comes up here as your outside influence. And so I feel like now this could be another person, another fire sign, or another person in your life who's, you know, has this creativity and fiery, passionate, you know, approach. It could be another person, but it also, I feel like, is very likely to be yourself. That you yourself are your outside influence, as you really embody who you're meant to be and who you really are, your core essence, like really standing up into your power and being the queen or the king, if you're, you know, male, feminine, doesn't matter, but, you know, really embodying all of the attributes in the most positive aspect of who you are, and that is going to, you know, help you in facing this challenge and then bringing it down. And that's really what was happening here, is you know, leveling up into a new, coming in through the gateway and the portal of the solstice. Hopes and fears is the Seven of Wands, and then we have an outcome as the Seven of Cups. And so it's interesting, we have two sevens here. The Seven of Wands really feels to me about somebody who's, you know, not going to back down and who will make a stand. And so maybe you've kind of had a fear that you weren't sure that you had the power to do that in a certain situation, especially when it has to do with the Tower. That you felt like you didn't know how to bring this down, and even fearing that you didn't have the strength and you weren't enough to make that happen. but know that you are, because you came up here as this queen. And so I see this queen really as being the same person as the Seven of Wands. It looks like the same person, only here she's kind of more like in her witch's robe. So it's kind of like tapping into your spirituality is going to help you, you know, face down this situation of all of this stuff that's coming at you. And this is really about the Tower, is what that is totally about. And so, you know, that was your hope or your fear, and maybe it was your fear that you couldn't do it, but it's also your hope, and actually know that you are, and the fact that she came up here right there as your outside influence, and this is your hope and fear. Know that you do have the power to stand. And then the outcome is the Seven of Cups, and you know there's a lot of different meanings for this card, and right now what I'm feeling in it is actually that it's saying to you that anything is possible. The Fool has this, you know, like she's going on this journey of anything is possible, leap of faith. And the Seven of Cups, and sometimes we have a meaning for it of like not like having a hard time making a decision about something and being confused, or maybe dreaming and having all these big dreams. But I really feel it's more, the other meaning of this one is actually manifesting. This person is sitting here manifesting all of these different cups in her experience. And, you know, there's something different in every cup, and they're very symbolic. There's a snake, there's a dove, and just try to say there's a castle, like a home, there's a mountain, and it looks like there's actually a phoenix coming up out of one of them, and others I can't really tell. But it's basically saying you're now, because you've come through this experience and you stood your ground, you're able now to manifest whatever it is that you desire. And we have as the overall theme of this entire spread is the King of Swords. And I do kind of feel like it could really be a person, and it may be somebody who has an air sign, Gemini, I'm just blanking out, Libra or Aquarius, but it also, you know, could be somebody who just has those attributes. I also feel this person is very spiritual. I've always felt that way about, especially in this deck, because he has the butterflies flying above his head, and but he's also communicative. And so it could be that you have a person that's closely connected with all of this. If not, you know, there's some other kinds of meanings to this too, and one of them even for me is kind of like a you know, like a spirit guides or higher self aspect of yourself. That's kind of like, you know, because the King of Swords is very, very wise, and so you have, you know, connection to your higher self that will help you through this situation. So we'll just put that card right there, and I'm going to take a look at some oracle cards. Let's see what the romance angels have to tell Sagittarius for the month of July. Romance angels, do you have any messages for Sagittarius for the month of July that will help us in this situation, understanding it better? And it says free yourself. I really see that. That's exactly what they're calling you to do. Free yourself of these feelings of lack, need, want, of not being enough. And, you know, the Fool's totally freed herself. She's just done it. You know, that's what it means. It's what it takes. And then also we have, for any of you who are in a, you know, has some kind of a romantic connection coming in, whether it was with the King of Swords or somebody like that, it says true love. This is a romance of a lifetime. Let's see what the Earth Oracle, the Earth Magic, has to say to us about the month of July for Sagittarius. We're not getting a feeling yet to pull a card. Here, that one wants to come. It says rainbow blessings. That's beautiful. And I really like that, especially, you know, we think of the Tower, it's coming down in a big thunderstorm, and then after the storm comes the rainbow and the sun and the, you know, blessings, just, it comes through. So that's beautiful. Let's see what, you know, and just know, like, there's a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow as well. So, you know, you're going to be able to manifest. Rainbows are blessings, promises, you know, really good luck coming your way. And I feel like, especially those of you who are in, you know, whoops, that one was to come. It says ground yourself. When you detach from awareness of your body and the physical world, you become ungrounded. Although it's pleasant to float upward, your attention and work are needed upon the earth. We're helping you balance the spiritual and material so that you can enjoy a fulfilling earthly life. And that is somewhat connected to some of the meanings for the Seven of Cups is about, you know, like being in a dream world. And so if that has been something you're challenged with in the outcome, then know that, you know, grounding yourself is really important. I do exercises with that every day. And we'll do angel answers. If you have a particular question right now, go ahead and ask it. and this can be your answer, or we'll also see how it reflects in the rest of the spread. It says improving health. So if anybody has, been struggling from health, or, whether it could also be not only just, physical health, but mental health. I certainly feel like when we are hanging on to feelings of lack and need and want and like I'm not enough, and we move on from that, it definitely is going to improve it can even improve your physical health, but it certainly can improve your mental health as well. Well, Sagittarian friends, I hope to see you around next month. Thanks for stopping by and watching.